Hello everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Cowl. Today is the final of our actual hexagons. We do have a couple more things to come in our hexagon unit, but this is the last of our individual hexagons. And it is an absolute stunner. This is the cable hexagon from My Pico, and there is a link, there will be a link to that in the description box below. It is just absolutely gorgeous. We start off nice and simple with some single crochets and double crochets, and it's all nice and simple. And then we get into making this gorgeous cable chain. Now, it might look complicated. I thought it was going to be very complicated when I started, but as I always say, we just take it step by step and stitch by stitch, and we get there. And it's not as daunting as it looks. So I'm going to take you through it step by step and stitch by stitch, and we will get there in the end, and you will have this gorgeous hexagon at the end. I'm certain you can do it, so don't be daunted by this, don't be put off. If you want to have a watch through, see how it's made first of all, and then you'll have an idea, and then rewind it and join me and make along with me. So grab your hook, your yarn, whatever colours you fancy for this. You can change it up as much as you like, or do it all in one colour. And maybe grab a cup of tea or coffee, and let's get started. Okie dokie, to start round one, we're going to chain 2. Now the top chain is going to act as our first single crochet. The bottom chain is going to act as our ring. And into that ring we're going to make 11 single crochets. 11 single crochets. I will get back to you when I've done all 11. Okay, if you wish to change colour, just fasten off and join your new colour in the same stitch or in any stitch around. Okay? Okay, and then for round 2, I have changed colour. For round 2, we're going to start with a chain 4. Just going to pull that old colour down. Chain 4 to start, and that counts as a double crochet and a chain 1. Okay, and then we're going to do a double crochet in the next stitch. Just working over my ends here. Double crochet in the next stitch and chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch, and chain 1. So all the way around, 1 double crochet and a chain 1 for every stitch. So you will end up with 12 double crochets and 12 chain 1s. Here we go. Here's my 12 double crochet and chain 1s, and then you're just going to slip stitch in the 3rd chain of your beginning chain 4, so the 3rd chain up, which counts as the top of a double crochet. So there we go, 12 double crochets and chain 1 spaces. There we go, camera's being silly. So there we go. So moving on to round 3. Excuse me, I'm going to keep the same colour, but if you want to change colour, just join your new colour in the same place. Okay, for round 3 we're going to chain 2, which counts as a chain and a single crochet, and then we're going to do 2 single crochets in our chain space, 2 single crochets, and then and then a single crochet in the double crochet, 2 single crochets in the chain space and 1 in the stitch. Okay, 2 in the chain space and 1 in the stitch. Do this all the way around and you will end up with 36 single crochets altogether, and I'll meet you back to tell you where we need to join. Okay, when you've done your last 2 in the chain space, you want to slip stitch to the 2nd chain that you started with, so the 2nd chain. make a slip stitch, and that's like slip stitching in the first single crochet. So there we go. Okay, for round 4, again, I'm not going to change colour. I'm going to stay with the same, but if you want to change colour, again, just change colour in the same place, okay? So, round 4, we are going to chain 5. And this counts as a single crochet and a chain 4. And then we are going to skip 2 stitches, okay? So bear in mind where your chain is coming from. This is the first stitch. So that's the one we're already in. So skip 2 stitches. 1, 2. There'll be the 2 in your chain space. And then in the next stitch, you're going to do a single crochet. So that will be a stitch on top of the double crochet. Okay? And then we're going to chain 4. Skip 2 more stitches, and then on the next one, a single crochet. Oops. So these single crochets are going on top of the doubles. So chain 4, and then single crochet on that third stitch. Skip 2 and single crochet. Repeat this all the way around, and I will see you back to do our slip stitch. Okay, now when you get near to the end, you've done your single crochet above the double crochet here, and then you've just got your 2 stitches to skip and make your last chain 4. You're going to not make that last chain 4. We are going to instead do a chain 1, and then we're going to do a double crochet in that bottom chain of the chain 5. So this very bottom chain, do a double crochet into there. Okay, now this chain 1 and double crochet counts as a chain 4 space like we have around here, but the difference is we have our hook in the middle of this chain space now. Instead of our hook being over here by the stitch, it is in the middle, and we sometimes do that if we want to be in the middle of the chain space. Okay, so that's what we've done, chain 1 and then a double crochet in that bottom chain, making our last chain 4 space. So this is what we have so far. Beautiful little chains around the edge, very pretty. Okay, and we're going to go on now to making the loops for our cables. Okay, so if you've seen that picture at the beginning where we've got these loops all the way around making a chain cable, so I'm going to make those in the same lilac lavender colour that I made here in the middle. So I'm going to fasten this off. I'm just going to cut this, and then I'm going to go back to my lavender. The reason being that I want them to stand out. You could do this all in one colour and it would still be gorgeous, but I want them to stand out a little and make a feature of them. And then to finish, I'll go back to doing this pale pink. Okay, so what you want to do is just fasten that off and join your new colour if you're changing colour. And it doesn't have to be the same as the middle colour, it can be a totally different colour, whatever you fancy. Just join that into the same place that you finished. Okay, so I'm just going to join that in as I did the previous one. This is not how I would normally join, but just how I'm joining today. So I'm just going to pull that down there, okay, and then have this. Now this will be a little difficult for working over your tails, so I would say don't even try, just leave them to sew in. Sometimes we have to just admit that we've got to sew some in. Believe me, this square hexagon is worth it. It's worth it. So we are going to make 11 cable loops now, and if you've seen the picture it might look complicated, but just take it step by step. You can slow the video down. There's a feature somewhere up the top there or just down below where you can click and slow the video down. So you can do that if you need to, pause, do whatever you need to do. Okay. Okay, so I've just brought the camera in a little closer. So what we're going to do first of all is chain 1, and then we're going to do 2 single crochets in this chain space. Okay, 2 single crochets, and then we're going to chain 10. Okay, chain 10. And then we're going to turn our work around. Okay, so we have the back of the chains here. Turn your work fully around, and then we're going to do a single crochet in the first single crochet along. So it's the last one we just made. So we're going to go into there at the bottom of the chain and make a single crochet. Make sure your working yarn is this side and not the other side where it was. Make a single crochet into there. Okay, and this has made a kind of loop now. You can see you've got a loop there. Okay, turn your work back around this way, whichever way you need to go, whichever way feels best for you. Turn your work around, and now what we're going to do is make 16 single crochets around this loop that we just made. Okay, so we're going to use this just as any ring, and we're going to just go into there and make a single crochet. Okay, I'm going to make 16 altogether, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, scooch them around a little bit if you need a little bit more space. Okay, now I'm just going to recount those, count those back and make sure that I've got 16. So just when you've done yours, just have a count and see if you've got 16. I need one more, so it's always worth counting. So, one more. Okay, so 16 single crochets around that chain 10 loop. Okay? And then, excuse me, we're going to do a single crochet in this same chain 4 space. Now why is this turned? Okay, so you might have found after doing your 16 single crochets that actually the back of your work is facing you like mine is. Okay, so just turn that back around, pull this loop around so it's facing the right way, like so, because if not it would be the back of your stitches facing forward, and that's not what you want. So make sure that the front of your loops is facing forward. Excuse me, and then make your single crochet in that very same chain space where you started. Okay, and this will secure your loop and make it face the front like so. There we go. There's our first cable loop. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to show you that again. So we're going to move over to the next chain space, okay, and we're going to do 2 single crochets. 1, 2 single crochets, okay, and then we're going to chain 10. Okay, chain 10, and then turn your work around, and you're going to make a single crochet in that single crochet you just made in the first one. Okay, so this first single crochet you've just made, go into there and do a single crochet, and then turn your work back around. So you've got the front facing you, and you're going to make those 16 single crochets in your chain. Okay, 16 single crochets in your chain. That's 10. Scooch them around a little. Excuse me, I still got that croaky throat. Had that the other day, didn't I? If you watched the previous video. Okay, now I've lost count, so I'm going to pause the video while I count my stitches and see how many I've got. Okay, I have 16. I had 15 again, so I've done another one, and I now have 16. So we are now going to do a single crochet in that same chain 4 space. And that is your second cable loop made. So we've got 2 there so far. So we're going to make 11. We will have 12 eventually, but to make them like this, we're going to make 11, okay? So you need to make 9 more, the next 9 chain spaces, and you'll have 1 chain space left at the end, okay? So just make 9 more, and we're going to do something slightly different on the last one. Okay, so rewind the video and repeat what we've just done. So you'll be doing, I'll just remind you here anyway, you'll be doing 2 single crochet, chain 10, then you'll be single crocheting in that first single crochet, and then you'll do 16 around your loop, and then you'll do a single crochet in the same space, and that's it. So rewind the video about probably 2 or 3 minutes and repeat this, and make 11 in total, and we'll do the last one together because it's different. Okay, when you have made all of your 11 loops, it will look something like this. Some of them might have twisted a bit, but that's not a problem at all. Don't worry about those. So you should have 11, and then 1 chain space left for the last loop. We're actually going to make that and we're going to call that a cord, because we're not making a full loop at the moment. We need to leave one of them open. So this last one will stay open until we've finished with all of these loops. Okay, so what we're going to do to start this last one, this cable cord rather than cable loop, we're going to do 2 single crochet in the next chain space. Okay, and now this time we're going to chain 11. Chain 11. Okay, and then we're going to do a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So 1, 2, do a single crochet in there, and then we're going to do 15 single crochets around this chain. Okay, so it might not be the simplest thing to do, because we're used to working in a loop or a ring. So just kind of hold your chain firmly, and then go under, yarn over and come round, and then you might want to hold on to the starting part here, your single crochet you just made, and then finish off your single crochet. Okay, so just kind of, you're sort of swinging it around really, and just holding on to what you've already made. There's 2, 3, not the easiest, but I know you can do it. So that's 3, so we're making 15 altogether. 4, oops, 5. Okay, so there actually will be 16 single crochets, including that first one that you made into the chain. Okay, so there will be 16 altogether. So when you're counting back, you count 16. Okay, so it's not the simplest, but just take your time and just hold on to that beginning part there, bring your hook round, and then just hold on to that as you work. Just sort of hold these two pieces together and almost form a loop in your hand. Once that gets started, it's much easier because you can just hold it in your hand like so. So this is what we're doing. Just like so. Until you have 16, oops, that was a slip stitch, until you have 16 stitches on here all together. Okay, I have my 16 stitches on this cord, so I'm just going to drop this loop from my hook. Now if you prefer, you can secure this with a stitch marker or safety pin or something if you prefer, or just pull up a long loop, that's absolutely fine. And then you will see that you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 loops and your cord. Okay, and then we're going to put this all together to make that cable cord, the cable loop that goes around. Okay, so what we're going to do is work around our loops. I'm just going to move that yarn out of the way. So what we're going to do is take your first loop and we're going to pull the second loop under the first, or through the first. Okay, so we're going to have them all facing this way in an anti-clockwise direction. Okay, anti-clockwise. So they're all going to be going sort of like this, okay, and pointing this way, okay, rather than that way. Okay, it's pointing to the left. So what we're going to do is take the second loop and put through the first. Make sure you've got the stitches at the right side up, pop that through there, and then give it a twist to bring it back around. Okay, so we've got the first loop is facing this direction, so this loopy part is in that direction, and then this second one we're going to bring that so it faces the same direction, and then take your third loop and put through that second one. Again, make sure you've got your stitches all facing the right side up, nice and neatly. Okay, so far we've got these three linked together. Okay, so then move this around. So then take your next loop, put it through the one before it, lay that one down, make sure your stitches are the right way up, and pull this one back around. So you can see we're starting to form this shape here. Just pull that one slightly if you need to adjust. Okay, so we're just going to work around and do this, putting one through the other and then twisting them to face in the same direction. Okay, so I will do all this on camera so you can see what I'm doing, but I will stop rabbiting and waffling on. Okay, let's see what's happening there. It's working around nicely. Go. And then I've got my last one here. There we go. So don't worry about this cord at the moment. You just want those 11 loops, okay? So all 11 loops are linked, starting from the first, going round. Move that tail out of the way, it's distracting. So they're all linked, going around the circle. And then we've got this 11th one here, ready to be linked. So we have this one and this one to be linked, and then we need to link it to the start. So that's our next step. Okay, so the next step is to take this cable cord and we're going to pull it through this last loop. So make sure you've got the stitches facing the right way. So My working yarn, the loop that I dropped, is coming off here to the left, and then this is the stitches the right way up, so I'm going to take it that way and put through under this loop. Okay, I'm taking this cord, show you that again. The stitches are the right way up, the working yarn is coming off at the bottom to the left, and then I'm going to hold it the right way up and take under and through the 11th loop and pull through. Okay, so this is the right way up, coming out of my loop, and the working yarn down here on the left. Okay, so that's that so far. And then we are going to take the cord and we're going to take it under the 2 loops of the first loop here. Okay, so if you look at your first loop here, you've got these 2 parts, a bit like a stitch or a chain really, and this is kind of making a chain cable. So you've got these 2 loops here. Okay, so you want to pass this cable under those, and again you want to keep the stitches the right way up. So the stitches are the right way up, they're facing upwards, so I'm just twisting this round. Okay, twisting this round, and then it's going to go under these 2 loops. This is probably the fiddliest part. It's going to go under those 2 loops. Okay, pull it round. Now this is where my stitches have twisted. Okay, you can see this is the back of the stitches, so just untwist that. Okay, untwist that. You can see now these are all facing the right way. The stitches are upright, so it's coming through this cable, through this loop here, under these 2 loops of the first one, and we are now going to join it. So take your hook again, and you want to insert your hook into the first stitch of this cord, into that first single crochet that you made. Okay, and then we're going to turn it round, pick up the loop that you dropped from your hook, pull that down smaller, so pick up that dropped loop, and then you're just going to pull that through the stitch, and that's joined those together. In fact, I don't think I went through the first stitch, so I am going to do that again and go into the first stitch, which is here. So it might be a bit tricky to get into, but just wiggle it through if you need to. Wiggle your hook through and then pull that round. Just make sure that when you're doing this that your cord is not twisted anywhere. Just make sure it's all completely flat and all the stitches facing upright. Okay, and then slip stitch through that stitch. Okay, and then we're going to do a single crochet in the chain 4 space below this. So just check for which space it is, and it is this one here. Okay, this one here. So just take this hook down and do a single crochet in that chain 4 space down there. And that, no, we're going to slip stitch into the first and the second crochet of the round to secure this. So these 2 here we're going to do a slip stitch into just to finish off and secure it nicely. So slip stitch into those 2, 1 and 2, and there is your cable loops finished. And I think you'll agree that it's quite impressive. Quite impressive. By all means, it is that last one that's the fiddliest, but so worth it. And I just think it looks great. Now this might want to twist slightly, but just tweak it and it should stay where it's meant to. There we go. How gorgeous does that look? Gorgeous, gorgeous. Looks pretty good to me. Impressive. Okay, to make these cables stand out nicely, I'm going to go back to my pale pink to do the next round and to finish off. So, if you want to change colours, then just change colour in the same stitch that you're in, okay? If you want to continue with the same colour that you're already using, then just stay where you are. So I'm going to change my colour just as I've done all the way through. And I'll see you when I've changed the colour. Okay, I've changed my colour. Now we're going to be working, have the work facing you the right way, but we're going to be working kind of on the back, okay? You won't see much of this from the front, but we're just laying in the foundation for the next round. Okay, so what we're going to do is start with a chain 7. And this counts as a double crochet and chain 4, and then we're going to skip 2 stitches, so skip 2 of the single crochets behind, and then we're going to do a double crochet in the next one. Now you might be looking at this thinking, I can't tell where my stitches are, and I must admit I had a look and thought, oh my goodness, I can't really tell. But if you look, you've got 1, 2, and then there's a third one around here, okay? Don't worry too much about specifics of if it's the stitch, the top of the stitch, or between stitches, okay? I'm going to tell you that. Now, I would normally say we're going to follow the pattern correctly, but sometimes I think we can get too worried about if we're going in the exact right spot. And because we're not going to see a lot of this round, I'm not even going to worry whether it's exactly the right spot or not. But I am going to try and help you to get the right spot. So if you look here, we've got 1 stitch, and then here we've got 2 stitches, so that's our 2 skip stitches, and then we've got 1 here just almost above this double crochet from the round down here. So see this light pink one here, and there's a stitch almost above that, and that's where we want to go. We're going to be going almost in line with this double crochet, and that's what you want to look for. So try and count your stitches to go into the third one, but it's in line almost with this double crochet, okay? And you're going to do a double crochet in there. So double crochet in that single crochet that's there. So just try and find it. Try and find the top of that stitch just there. Okay, and you can see that's coming almost above the double crochet that's below. Okay, and then you're going to chain 4. Okay, and then again we're going to skip 2 more stitches, so 1, 2, and then you've got your third stitch here, again almost above the double crochet below. So make a double crochet in that stitch and chain 4. And you're going to do this all the way around, so I'll show you once more. So skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and you're going to go in the third stitch and do a double crochet. Oh, that's not a double crochet, it's a single crochet. So you're going to do a double crochet, again almost above that double crochet below, and then chain 4. Okay, do this all the way around until you've got 12 double crochets and 12 chain 4 spaces. And when you've done your last chain 4, I will meet you back to finish off the round. So when you've done your last chain 4, we're going to slip stitch into the third chain up of your beginning chain 7. And that will be like going into the top of a double crochet, and do a slip stitch. And then you have 12 double crochets and 12 chain 4 spaces on the back. There we go, that's the end of round 6. So if you want to change colour, just change colour in exactly the same space that you've fastened off. But to be honest, if you change colour, then we won't really see much of this colour anyway of this round, because it's mostly on the back. So you might want to keep the same colour and bring it out a little bit. Okay, so let's move on to round 7. Believe me, the hardest work is now done. So we're going to work on making this into a hexagon now. So we're going to start by doing a chain 3, which counts as our first double crochet. And then we're going to do 4 double crochet in this chain space. 4 double crochet. Okay, and then in the next stitch, so the double crochet, in there we're going to make our first corner. So we're going to do 2 double crochet, chain 1, and then 2 more double crochet, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. Okay, and then we're going to do 4 double crochet in the chain space, oops, more yarn, and then we're going to do a double crochet in the next double crochet, 4 double crochet in the next chain space, and then we're back to doing a corner. So our corner is in the next stitch, so we do 2 double crochet, chain 1 and 2 double crochet, and then you're back to repeating your 4 double crochet in the chain space, 1 in the stitch and 4 in the space. So 4, 1, 4, and then in the next stitch your corner, 2 double crochet, chain 1 and 2 double crochet. Do this all the way around, making 6 sides and 6 corners, and I will see you back around here to finish off, because you will be finishing with 4 double crochet in this space here. Okay, and I'll see you to finish off. Here we go. When you've done your last 4 double crochet, you want to slip stitch in the top of your beginning chain 3. There we go. So you can see it has started to form this lovely hexagon. You might need to tweak it into shape a little, and some of your cables might have sort of got a bit pushed over, but you can tweak them all at the end. But there we go, we've got our hexagon shape formed now. So what we're going to be doing now is just adding on to this outside of our hexagon and continuing making it look pretty. So I'm going to continue with the same colour. As always, if you want to change colour, just change colour in the same stitch. So for round 8, let's have a look at what we're going to do. We're going to make some nice sort of loopy chain spaces around the outside now. So first of all, we are going to chain 5. And then we're going to skip 2 stitches. So not the one where you started with your chain, but skip 2 more stitches. And then in the next stitch, we're going to do a single crochet. And then we're going to do that again, chain 5, skip 2 stitches, and then do a single crochet. Okay, and then we are going to do a chain 4. We're going to skip this chain 1 space that's in our corner, and we're going to do a single crochet in the next stitch. So the 2 stitches either side of your corner chain space have a single crochet, and then we are going to do a chain 4. Someone outside pipping their hooter. So chain 4, skip 2 stitches and single crochet in the next. Oops. Chain 4, skip 2 stitches, single crochet in the next. Chain 4, skip 2 and single crochet in the next. Chain 4, skip 2 and single crochet in the next, and we are back to being to the stitch just before our corner. So we are going to chain 4, skip the chain in the corner and do a single crochet in the very next stitch. Okay, and then you're going to repeat this all the way along the next side. So you're going to chain 4, skip 2 stitches, single crochet, chain 4, skip 2, single crochet, all the way to the end. Your last stitch will be next to the corner, chain 4, single crochet in the very next stitch, and then repeat it all the way down. Okay, and I will see you back around at the start to finish off this round. Okay, when you've done your last chain 4, normally we would slip stitch, but do you remember when we did one of our chain spaces earlier, we finished with a double crochet instead? So what we're going to do is make a double crochet. Actually, we don't need to chain 4, my mistake. So you've done your last single crochet. Okay, you've done your last single crochet, and then we're going to do a double crochet into the bottom chain of our starting chain 5. Okay, because this will give us our hook in the right place of our what would be a chain space. So this is going to act as a chain space. So double crochet into the very bottom chain of your starting chain. And I do apologise if I made that sound very confusing. I kind of confused myself, which if you've watched any of my videos for a while, you will know that I'm very good at confusing myself. Now I'd already fastened off because I kind of made a mistake, so I've cut my yarn ready to change colour. So just to clarify that, you've done chain 4, single crochet, and then to finish off you've done a double crochet into that bottom chain of your starting chain. Okay, and now your hook should be sort of in the middle of this space here, and this is counting as a chain 4 space. Okay, it's counting the same as all of these. Okay. Okay, so I fastened that off because I'm changing colour. Now, if you want to change colour, I'm going to go back to my lilac just to give this a nice frame for the final round. You just want to join it into the same chain space that you fastened off. Okay, so I'm going to join this slightly differently than I have done previously. I'm just going to tie it on. I tend to join my yarn in different ways. I don't have a set way of joining my yarn. I'm a bit random, which lots of my friends and family will know already. So what we're going to do is chain 3, which counts as a double crochet. Chain 3, and then 2 more double crochet into that chain space, so that you've got 3 all together. And then we're going to do 3 double crochet in the next chain space. And 3 in the next chain space. Okay, And now we are at the chain space that's by our corner. If you can kind of see down here, we've got our corner point, and this is our corner chain space. So in there, we're going to do 2 double crochet, chain 1, and 2 double crochet. Okay, and that's your corner, 2, 1, 2. And then you're going to continue down the side, doing 3 double crochet in each chain space, and then when you get to your corner, you will do just what we've done, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. Repeat that all the way around, so you have 4 sets of 3 down the side and then your corner. Okay, repeat this all the way around, and to finish you'll do your corner and then your last set of 3 double crochet, and then slip stitch in the top of your starting chain, and that is the end of the round. So I will see you back around here. So I'm just doing my final slip stitch in the top of that chain 3 and fasten off. Oops, did I not cut it? I thought I had. There we go. So all that's left to do now is just tweak this into shape if it needs it. Pull out those corners again if it needs it, and sort your cables out, and there we go. That last one, when you did the cord, you might find that it still likes to fold over a little, so what you might want to do there is just take a piece of yarn and just sew a kind of invisible stitch there to hold that the right way around. You might want to do that, just keep it laying nicely facing the right way, because that one does like to move around. But otherwise I think this is just such a clever design, and we certainly saved the hardest for last. But if we take it step by step and stitch by stitch, we get there in the end, which is what I always try and tell you, that whatever pattern you look at, just take it step by step and stitch by stitch, and we get there in the end. So I love this. It's just got such a great texture, and a few ends to sew in, but hey, what's that? A small price to pay for such a beautiful pattern. So I know this would look awesome in just one colour, and great in a whole load of colour changes. However you choose to do this, I hope you share a photo of it, either in our Facebook group, and there's a link to that in the description below, or on Instagram, #BeyondTheCal, share it there. I just would love to see what you've made with this. I hope you found this tutorial useful and helpful, and certainly if you were a bit sort of, if you were slightly apprehensive of having a go at this pattern, I hope you found this really helpful, and that you've made up this cable hexagon with me today. If you have, then please click that like button, give us a thumbs up. You know how much it's appreciated. It's always good to know that you've stopped by. Leave any comments or questions at the bottom of the page or on the Facebook group. And until next time, just keep hooking and don't let your tea get cold.